Hi guys. So my father wants me to do some videos here, so I'm going to do a video on on my process of what I'm doing. And it is there's a lot of stuff to it. So I didn't realize just how much I've done in the last year or so. I've acquired a lot of chemicals. Acquired a lot of tools. So I'm going to go through kind of a list of stuff that I have to let you guys all know what I'm doing. So let's see. Things that you need in order to do all these kinds of experiments. You're going to need an ultrasonic, a microwave, you're going to need a hot plate, coffee grinder, you're going to need fan. And that's because some of the stuff that you do is going to create gases and things like that. Probably the best thing to do is if you're going to get a fan, create yourself a fume hood. That way you can make sure to vent the gases out of your area where you're working on. I have a garage, pretty big. I use the fan, and if it starts fuming too bad, I'll just put the chemical reaction next to the fan, let it blow out, and then I'll leave the garage for about an hour or so. And I might even open up the garage door to make sure there's good airflow to clean out all those chemicals so that I'm not breathing them. You're going to need a multi-tester or a multimeter. I like the ones that have the ability to measure capacitance on. I got a really cheap one. It's about $49, $50. I got it at Home Depot. You can get better ones, but if you're just starting out, you don't need to get high-end anything because you're just learning. Jars. You're going to need some kind of stir rod. I'd suggest glass. Best stir rod doesn't react with 90% of the stuff. I think there's a few chemicals that'll eat the glass, but really the stuff that we're working with, you don't have to worry about that. You're going to need a gram scale. And you can't just buy one of these at the grocery store. You'll have to go to like a smoke shop or look for one online. A lot of the things that you can get on here, you can actually get very inexpensively online. Plastic spoons. You're going to need cups. I prefer the plastic ones for just mixing regular stuff into. It's best to have some beakers. You're going to need probably beakers too. Stuff that you can measure with. You're going to need measuring graduated cylinders. I'm going to have to do several videos because YouTube don't like having a real long video being posted, especially if you have it in good quality. Vacuum filter and vacuum filter system. You're going to need electronic components. Various different types. You'll figure it out as you go because you're going to need to do research. Hey, I could show you each and every individual step, but I'm kind of taking my cue off of Robert. He has inspired me over the last year and a half. I have done a lot of my experimentation and acquiring of chemicals and stuff, because that's what he did. He inspired me. And as I did more research, the more stuff that I acquired. Now this ultrasonic, I gotta tell you, it works, but if I could afford a homogenizer, that's probably the way I would actually go, because it's way more efficient and a heck of a lot faster. You're gonna need chemicals. Let's see what else you're gonna need. You're gonna need a torch. Oh, and even though you gotta, I don't know the names for these things here. They make it so I can measure smaller measurements in your milliliters. You're gonna need both of these. This one's for being incredibly accurate, and this one's for just getting really close. I personally use this one the most because I'm just kind of getting close and then trying it out and see what I get out of it. This one, if you're really trying to dial it in, makes it so you can get down to the milliliter. You can buy other ones that are even less, where you can get down to the micro, I don't know, the next step down. I can't remember what it's called. Smaller than the milliliter. There's ones that you can get that'll do that. You think they call those pipettes. At some point I'll probably get those, because once I start getting to where I'm trying to dial it in and get perfect, that's what I'll be playing with. I have mortar and pestle. Mortar and pestle, sorry, pestle, not pedestal. And that's for grinding up large stuff into smaller stuff. The coffee grinder works great. You don't really need a mortar and pestle. I have one just in case I want to make a finer powder, because that's the way you're going to do it. Something with that. Now those are tools that you can do that work. All that stuff works. You can buy higher grade stuff. I have an actual milling. Not a milling machine. I actually have a ball mill. I've used it once. I didn't think about it before I used it, and the exfoliate. I did something really dumb. I'll let everybody know so that you don't waste your time on it. I took the exfoliated graphite, threw it in there with the ball into the ball mill, and ran it for about an hour or so. When I got done with it, it was all flat. Well, that's great, except now I got graphite. I don't have exfoliated graphite anymore that's got large surface area. I have now graphite that's got smaller surface area. Wasn't thinking about that one too much, but just in case some of you guys think that that's going to be a great way to do it, no, that won't work for that. It works great for crushing up dry powders such as your urea and your other stuff. If you want to go that route and make it really fine, you can do that. But for a lot of those processes, I just use the coffee grinder, and if I'm needing any finer than that, then I do it by hand. It doesn't take very long, so those are the two processes I use mostly. But I do have a ball mill for if I'm going to do large quantities later down the road. Now those are the tools you need. The chemicals, that's going to take a lot more time to tell you. I have probably 40 or 50 different chemicals. Some of them I've made myself. But that's it. This is part one. I don't know how many parts are going to be in this series. I just know that I'm going to do quite a few. All right, thank you.